following announcement has been paid for by the Mike World Order. And now, welcome to the current season of the Mike Cook Guys podcast, episode 4. As in like the 4 horsemen or the 4 horsewomen, the 4 amigos, doesn't really matter. Before I start this episode, I want to do a personal shout out. Recently, a guy that I knew since 8th grade, Devin Powers, risked his life to save someone else. And he paid the ultimate price, sacrificing his life in acts of heroism. And for that, I want to take this quick moment to say, my thoughts and prayers go out to his family. And it's crazy because middle school, we were never that cool. But then again, it was middle school. I was bumping heads with everybody. High school, we were on and off. When we were in the weight room, we never had problems. But I think it was after I got out of high school, and I've hung out with him a couple of times because the other people he knew, we ended up being cool. And the last time I saw him was at a Walmart in 2010. And we were chatting for a bit. And that was the last time I saw him. About a month ago, he added me on Facebook. And at that time, I was, having my busy lifestyle. I didn't get a chance to reach out, say, hey, how's it going? We liked each other's photos and comments and all that, but never had a chance to, vibe with each other. And the day before he liked one of my photos, I saw in the group post for my Back to School reunion page that he died. And afterwards, when I got the news, I was at the hookah bar chilling. And I called up the New Era and I told him, I said, hey, I know there's moments we always laugh and joking. We probably throw some zingers at each other. But I told him, I want you to know I want you to be safe. I don't want nothing happening to you. And if anything happens, you got my number, you know where I live. I like that kid. He'd be a stubborn little arrogant young buck, but you know what? I see a lot of myself in him from when I was his age. He's just more outgoing than I was. But anywho, there's a lot I want to get off my chest right now. How I'm feeling. After being in pain within the past 24 hours. I don't know if it's just the elements of today or just in general. Everything I had built up, I started throwing it back on everybody. And everybody deserves it in my own world. I'm at the point where I realize I am a very defensive person when it comes to things that offend me. And I sometimes forget that I'm always that nice, good-natured person, when really I should be the exact opposite. But I can't, because I don't like being that toxic personality that everyone else carries. It's not me. And I've learned that it never has, never will be. But recently, I had to bury the hatchet with a coworker because I couldn't stand being around him. There was one day, it was like the last straw. And if I would have saw him later on that evening, I probably would have bashed his head in. Like, no lie. And because of that, lately I've been cutting more and more and more people off and just dismissing, and it's just a dismissive personality and attitude where I just don't feel like dealing with it anymore. I don't feel like dealing with such stupidity and, people that always want to get into your business and just are so downright negative. Always got something to say. Like, get the fuck out of my situation. But I think today I went it too far on someone else that probably didn't deserve it, but at the same time, if this person knew how I felt, she would understand where I was coming from. It's a thin line between looking out for someone because you care about them and looking out for someone because you want something. There's nothing that I want from any woman that I can't get from my own self. I do my own cleaning. I do my own cooking. If nights are lonely, hey, you know what to do. Any guy who's single know that routine. Like, what do I really need? But at the same time, to that person, it's like I said, look at things from my point of view. Look at things from my perspective. Put on my size 16 shoes to understand where I'm coming from. Then, only then, you will realize, wow, he was right. Say no more. Moving forward. So this past weekend we had another long-awaited Zoo Squad dinner. And for those who showed up, members of the Zoo Squad, thank you. It wasn't as wild as it usually is in terms of comedic and drunkenness. It was more laid back, low key. At the same time, I was a little bit offended because a certain person, whose name I'm not going to mention, pretty much egged us on, led us on, saying, hey, I'm showing up. And then you no-showed. And then you flaked on us. And then when we try to reach out to say, hey, is everything okay? Is everything cool? You took the phone call straight to voicemail. I get it. I'm one of those type of people. I'm very reasonable. I don't lose sleep anymore over people. I'm not going to beg for your attention or beg for an invite. I may joke and say, hey, I ain't getting an invite. But really deep down, I could care less. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. There's plenty for me to do in Northern Virginia rather than be left out. So please, for anyone who has left me hanging, and afterwards want to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mike. We didn't mean to. Don't worry about it. Because, two things. If you don't get a spare, I mean, if you don't get a strike, you get a spare. And 2, for every transaction comes a receipt. And a lot of people know that phrase for a reason. So this person didn't show up. Didn't hear from him. It's Wednesday night. And I had to be the one to reach out. And that's okay. But the simple fact I had to reach out. And then all of a sudden, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I know I left you hanging. But see, here's the thing that really, really, really burns me. I took your word. No matter if you're 12, 22, or 42, if your word isn't good enough, then you're not good enough. Because if you couldn't tell me you couldn't make it, say something. Say something. I wouldn't have wasted extra money on things to accommodate because I'm that friend. I like to accommodate everyone, make sure that they're good. I put a lot of pressure on myself just to make sure people are well taken care of, that they're having a good time, that they're enjoying themselves. Part of me felt hurt, though, for some reason. And it's not like me. You know? It's not like me to feel that way. And it was just one of those things. What can you do? What can you do? So, I know it's for the people on Facebook Live. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But it was one of those things. What could you do? Like, I was steaming mad. And 4 days. I didn't hear from you. 4 days. That really, really boils and boils. And it boils. So it pretty much goes to show not just what type of friend you are, but just what merit type of person you are. Because, hey, we saw you on social media that same day and the next day. You didn't look like you were sorry to me. You didn't look like it at all. You didn't look like what happened fazed you. So, I gave my last rites. This is the last time that you're going to do me like that. It's the last time you're going to make me look like a fool. It's the last time you're going to stir the pot and then pour it over and let everything waste, because that's what you did. So like many others, you kiss my ass. And on top of that, there were a lot of people who were butthurt that I didn't send them an invite. A lot of people who wanted to show their ass off, their attitude, had their ass on their shoulders, and be like, well, I didn't get invited to his little dinner or whatever. We saw the photos. Or you act like you're too good for us. It's not the case. I don't act like I'm too good for anybody. The one thing about that squad, that zoo squad as I call them, that's pretty much like the first family that, you know, family feel that I got living in Northern Virginia as a group. Been my family. So while many people kind of forget about my situations, like when I had cancer for the second time, the cancer cells that were forming, they tripled what they were before. Think anybody called? You think anybody reached out? No. Zoo Squad did. They even sent like flowers. You know, some of you people who are whining and bitching about it still owe me money to this day. And you act like you're entitled of me going above and beyond for you when you can't even do the most simplest thing, like say hello, passing by in the hallways. Because I'm trying to be, typical coworker. I don't care how your day's doing. I don't care what happens at home. I don't care about your personal life. I'm going to still give you that common courtesy to say, hello, hey, how's it going? What's up? And the most logical thing for you to do is reply. If you don't want to say hey, no, kick rocks. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to get on my knees and beg to any of you people out there just for attention. And it's sad because I got a friend right now that I've been friends with for probably a couple of months now. And within those couple of months, she's been more loyal as a friend than any past friend that I've had that has screwed me over, that has dicked me down, and has just flat out completely did me wrong. Did me wrong. And on top of that, you can say whatever you want about me, but can't nobody ever take away that I am a very loyal friend to those who are friends with me. I even got a friend I've been friends with for a year living up here. He's been there during the rough times. He's been there during the highs and lows. If I could say a lot of the people that I'm really close with, since moving up here, I can only count on one hand. One hand who's really had my back. But if I count the number of people who I've been there, whether it's 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., there's not enough fingers, and there's not enough toes. And that's my number one flaw as a person. Just trying to be that caring, trusting, loyal friend. But not everybody appreciates that. Not everybody accepts those type of things. You accept those type of things as you're being weird, you're being a creep. Oh my gosh. It's not like that. You people just take it like that because you're that insensitive, you're that insecure. You lack confidence. You same people that throw your weight around in everyday lives, in your jobs, outside of work, I bet you can't even touch my confidence factor with not even a grain or a gram for my fun people out there. I bet you couldn't. And who can really top that statement? Nobody. And it's crazy because I've got friends right now in other areas that are going through shit situations because they're trying to be that person. And you know what? They probably put themselves in a situation that got them screwed over unknowingly how it went down. Because they probably didn't look at it from that point of view. They probably looked at it from the point of view of, well, maybe this might work. Let's make this work. Let's try something new. Let's spice things up. And they end up getting done wrong for it. Why? Because instead of taking the moment to understand, you immediately go on the defense. Just blows my mind sometimes. And maybe I needed how today was for it to go the way it did, because sometimes Sometimes you just need to get all whatever's been out, built up, out. And I went through, like I said, so much pain within the past 24 hours. This stomach pain, like finding out I got GERD. And for those who are geniuses, when you have GERD, that's the next step of Barrett's esophagus, which leads to a 10% chance of having polyps. What are polyps? Cancer cells. Last place I want that is in my throat. I already survived my stomach. I already survived my intestines. I'm not going for the throat. I refuse. I refuse for my throat to go through that. Not going to happen. As long as I keep taking my medicine. And people remind me, don't forget to take your medicine. Trust me, this shit's been painful the past few days, you know. But I'm telling you, the more that I'm venting out, the more I'm getting this out of my system, the more that I feel more enlightened to where I know I'm end up sleeping good tonight. And I'm cool with that, to be honest. But, yeah. It's just crazy. But you know what? I'm going to go on a more lighter note. I'm going to go on a more lighter note. So, I got this one coworker. And this is why me being a big guy, I take twice as much work to pride myself just to even look decent. So someone can say, hey, you look really nice. Because let's face it, all the skinny fuckboys are getting all the good women. All the abusive, whether it's verbal or physical, men are the one getting all the good women. Once again, you people speak of religion. And I get that. Religion is here, there, everywhere. I believe religion is there as a helpful source of finances and being a better person and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to love and relationships, is it there? In 2019? No. I've said it before and I say it again. But anywho, we'll get to the subject of chasing later. This coworker, I just don't understand it. I've seen this dude wear like the same pants like 4 days in a row. And when people ask, how do you know? Because I'm the guy who sold it to him. And I'll never forget that night. This dude lied about all his measurements. He was at least about, numbers-wise, what he mentioned plus 10. So if he said he was a 44, he was actually a 54. If he said he was a 52 jacket, he was actually a 62. And when we asked him about his shirt, he said he was a 2 or a 3X. And everybody in that store yelled out loud, "You's a goddamn lie." He was a 6X. So you know what? You was right. You was a 2 or a 3X because for all you mathletes out there, 2 times 3 equals 6. Damn. So, I swear, you do need to chase a washcloth and some soap. And, speaking of chasing, you know, I always say it's easy to compare life to pro wrestling. And someone said, how? I said, think about it. I said, you can compare it to dating almost, or liking a woman. Prime example. A lot of people like WWE, right? Nod your head. So y'all heard of, pay attention to the Kofi Kingston situation. WWE's first black official world champion. 100% black, that is. So they were on point with the storylines, building him up, building him up, building him up, chasing, 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 chasing. And when he finally won the title, great moment, good feel-good moment. For the past going on 3 months, his title reign has been mediocre. We're not into it. All because it was fun watching him chase after it. You know who else had that same problem? Kenny Omega. Anyone who watches New Japan, all them 30-minute, hour-long, 30-minute draws, 60-plus minutes, 2 out of 3 falls matches he had with Okada. And everyone was into him chasing the belt. But when he finally won it, once again, fans were not into it because he was mediocre. We were happy when he lost the belt versus when he won it. Same can go said for a woman you like. I've seen guys chase. And you know what? I used to be that way when I was younger. Chase and chase and chase and chase and chase after a woman that they want to get with so bad because they like them so much, they like them so much, they would do whatever. They would go through so many trials and tribulations just to be with this woman. And the woman doesn't want it. Like, she loves being chased, but then eventually she doesn't want it. And then finally, you don't care anymore for it. And then all of a sudden, she wants to be yours. And deep down, you're like, nah. No. I don't want it at all. And I've hit that age in life, like I said earlier the past couple of times. I'm not going to beg. There's no point begging. All begging is going to do is make you look dumb. It's going to make you look retarded. It's going to make you look desperate. Like, it's going to make you look pitiful. And I remember I did that one time. I begged. I pleaded. No, don't leave me. No. No, don't do that. And mind you, this one was the one who cheated on me for a guy that was 10 years younger than me at the time. And I was hurt, but I was still like, no, don't leave me. Begging. Like a fool. People would do that for relationships. People would do that for love. People would do that for all sorts of situations. Because they want the attention that bad. They want to be loved. I can't do that. I ain't about that life. Can't do it. And if it means being that guy who's all alone with his collection of wrestling belts, people can say what they want about it. They can say that's not natural. And I've been told that a lot. That that's not natural. To the point now I use it as an inside joke. Because that's what a lot of people are. Inside jokes. Well, I think that does it for tonight. Because all I wanted to do was blow some steam off. And now I feel a lot better. Can't wait to go to bed, take an H-bomb, go to sleep, take my medicine, because my stomach has been going through probably so much hell the past 24 hours, it's not even funny. I went for one moment feeling good, feeling fine, to my motherfucking stomach got like there's an explosion going on. It's bubbling, it's turning, it's twisting. I feel like somebody got a bag of chains and is wrapping my throat all the way down to my chest, to my sternum, and they're just cranking and tightening. Like, that's how it felt the past 24 hours. I couldn't sit at my desk. I had to like constantly walk and walk and walk and drink water just to see what was going on. Couldn't go to my doctor last night because it was so packed. It was so packed, and they were like, Mr. Cook, you need to go. We're closing. So I had to go home. I had to suffer while I'm going to sleep. I was going to call out for work, but I'm like, that's not like me because I'm not dead, so I'm going to work. When I saw my doctor, that's when he gave me the news. So I'm like, thanks for the info, Doc. Thanks for the info. So, episode 5 should be within the next week, depending how things are going in life. You never know, right? Episode 5 might be tomorrow, depending on who really makes me feel some type of way. I am so ready. So, with that being said, for all you people out there, the Mike Cook Guys podcast show. And also, next episode, we will mention our first winner in July of the t-shirt contest. So you might want to stay tuned for that too. Because who doesn't love free shit? I know I do. And that being said, so this farewell greeting of goodbye and good night. Bang!